In today's presentation, we will take a look back at some baseball history as presented on U.S. postage stamps. In Part 1, we will focus on some of the early baseball stamps, from 1938 to 1998. This stamp commemorates the 100-year anniversary of the beginning of baseball, and was issued in conjunction with the opening of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. While other forms of the game had been played for years before the 1839 date, Abner Doubleday is credited with formalizing the rules of baseball. Historians have long disputed Doubleday's actual influence, but his efforts in the small upstate New York town of Cooperstown are now part of baseball and American lore. July 4th by Grandma Moses captures a scene in rural America where the baseball diamond is the center of focus. Over the course of 3 decades, she would produce more than 1,500 paintings. Americans began playing baseball as informal teams using local rules. By the mid-1800s, the sport was considered America's national pastime. In 1869, the Cincinnati Red Stockings became the first salaried team, making them the first professional baseball team. The highest salary was $1,400 for the season, which is equivalent to $145,000 in modern wages. They finished their first year with 65 wins and 0 losses, generating a profit of $1.39. This stamp is one of the Black Heritage series. It honors the legendary Brooklyn Dodger, Jackie Robinson. Many people resented my impatience and honesty, but I never cared about acceptance as much as I cared about respect. Jackie Robinson earned respect as a baseball player because of his talents as a fielder, batter, and daring base runner. His integrity and determination earned him admiration off the field. Brooklyn Dodgers executive Branch Rickey knew the first black player in the major leagues couldn't be just anyone. He chose Robinson to move from the Kansas City Monarchs of the Negro League to the Dodgers. Robinson played his first major league game on April 15, 1947, a defining moment not only in sports but in history. Robinson's career was full of great moments. One of his outstanding years was 1949, when he batted .342, scored 122 runs, and batted in 124 more. He was the National League's most valuable player that year. In 1962, Robinson was selected to the Hall of Fame. Even under pressure, Robinson performed well. On the last day of the 1951 regular season, the Dodgers were tied with the Philadelphia Athletics in an extra inning game. With the bases loaded and 2 out, Robinson dived to grab a hard line drive and was knocked unconscious. 2 innings later, he hit a game-winning homer that put the Dodgers into the pennant race. Issued in conjunction with the 50th anniversary of baseball's All-Star Game, this stamp honors Babe Ruth. A baseball legend, Ruth played in the first All-Star Game, in 1933. Babe Ruth was a man of huge achievements. He began his baseball career as a left-handed pitcher, and later moved to the outfield. The Babe did not achieve legendary status because of his talents in the field. He won America's heart by swatting dramatic home runs and with his larger-than-life persona. He earned the nickname, the Sultan of Swat. After 6 years with the Boston Red Sox, Ruth was traded to the New York Yankees. He experienced his best years in baseball with this team during the 1920s. Babe Ruth gave baseball some of its most memorable moments. His epic smash on October 1, 1932 stands as one example. This homer, the famed called shot, was hit during the 3rd game of the World Series. Whether Ruth actually indicated his intentions to the taunting, lemon-throwing Wrigley Field crowd has been widely debated for years. Ruth came to bat in the 5th inning with the score tied. He took 2 balls and 2 strikes, and signaled after each pitch. Some say this was Ruth noting the count, not predicting his homer. On the 5th pitch, Ruth sent the ball sailing over the bleachers. The crowd, knowing it had witnessed an amazing event, went wild. According to Ruth, I didn't exactly point to any spot. All I wanted to do was give the thing a ride out of the park, anywhere. Roberto Clemente played baseball with an intensity that earned him respect from both players and fans. Born in Carolina, Puerto Rico, Clemente was in high school when he became involved in baseball. He began playing professionally in Montreal, and was later picked up by the Pittsburgh Pirates. He played there his entire career. Clemente's skills were showcased at the plate as well as in the outfield. With his strong arm, he was able to make dramatic throws in from his position at right field. This four-time batting champion, whose batting average topped the 300 mark 13 times, was named the National League Most Valuable Player in 1966. Clemente helped the Pirates to their World Series victories in 1960 and 1971. He never went hitless in championship appearances and was named Most Valuable Player of the 1971 World Series. On September 30, 1972, Clemente reached a baseball milestone when he recorded his 3,000th major league hit. Just 3 months later, on New Year's Eve, he was killed in an airplane crash while delivering supplies to earthquake-stricken Nicaragua. In 1973, the customary 5-year waiting period was waived and Roberto Clemente was named to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in a special election. He was the first Hispanic elected to the Hall of Fame. Many sportswriters have used the word durable to describe Lou Gehrig. Even his nickname, the Iron Horse, implied stability. The New York Yankee first baseman played in an amazing 2,130 consecutive games, a record which went unbroken for 70 years. Born in New York City in 1903, Gehrig was recruited by the Yankees. He stayed with the team his entire career. Gehrig's consecutive game streak began on June 1, 1925. The following day, he filled in for the starting first baseman. He held that position for the next 14 years. Gehrig's career was full of incredible accomplishments. He set an American League record in 1931 with 184 runs batted in, hit 4 home runs in one game in 1932, and recorded 23 career grand slams. Gehrig's career was cut short in 1939 when he was diagnosed with ALS, a disease that today carries his name. On July 4, 1939, 61,000 people attended Lou Gehrig Day at Yankee Stadium. In his stirring speech, Gehrig said, "Today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth." He remained active in the community until his death in 1941. The tradition of retiring a player's uniform began when Gehrig left the game in 1939. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in a special election that year. This set of 4 baseball cards was issued in 1989 as part of a special package by the USPS, at the time the Lou Gehrig stamp was issued. They have the look and feel of real baseball cards, while picturing the actual stamps issued to represent the players. Although baseball was played as a demonstration sport in 7 former Olympic Games, the 1992 Summer Games in Barcelona were the first where the game was played as an official sport. To commemorate this milestone in the history of America's favorite pastime, the USPS issued a stamp. It was released in Atlanta, Georgia, site of the 1996 Summer Games and home of the 1991 National League pennant winners, the Atlanta Braves. Another use of the Olympic baseball stamp on a cover, featuring Brett Barberie, a member of the USA 1988 Olympic baseball team. The first World Series was held in 1903. It began when the Pittsburgh Pirates owner challenged the Boston Pilgrims owner to a best-of-9 game series. Thousands of fans attended each game. The first attracted more than 16,000 viewers. The Pilgrims, led by legendary pitcher Cy Young, lost that first game, but came back to win the series 5-3. Although quarreling prevented a 1904 World Series, by 1905 the two leagues had signed an agreement providing for a postseason championship, and the World Series has been the highlight of the baseball season ever since. With several weeks left in the 1951 baseball season, there seemed to be little mystery about who would compete in the World Series. In the American League, the New York Yankees led the standings by 5 games and were well on their way to a third pennant in as many years. In the National League, the Brooklyn Dodgers held a 13-1/2 game lead and were a shoo-in for the series. But then the New York Giants went on to win 39 of their last 47 games, tying the Dodgers to force a 3-game playoff. After splitting the first 2 games of the playoff series, the Dodgers led Game 3 by a score of 4-2 with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. With players on second and third, and rookie sensation Willie Mays on deck, the Dodgers elected to pitch to the heavy-hitting Bobby Thomson. That decision would prove costly. On the second pitch, Thomson lined the game-winning home run over left field, pictured on this stamp. This home run, called the shot heard round the world, propelled the New York Giants to victory and into the World Series. However, the team lost the series to the powerhouse New York Yankees. Bobby Thomson's heroic home run was not overshadowed by the World Series loss, though. That hit is still remembered as one of baseball's greatest moments. The New York Yankees dominated baseball in the 1950s. The team played in 8 of the decade's 10 World Series games, and won 6. Of the 8 World Series appearances, the Yankees faced their rivals, the Brooklyn Dodgers, 4 times. The Dodgers beat the Yankees just one of those 4 times. The Dodgers and Yankees played each other in the 1955 World Series. The first 2 games of the series were won by the Yankees. At that time, no team in baseball history had ever lost the first 2 games and gone on to win the 7-game championship. Dodgers fans all over America were saying wait until next year. With help from pitcher Johnny Padres and home run hitters Roy Campanella, Gil Hodges, and Duke Snider, Brooklyn came back to win the next 3 games. The Yankees took the 6th game, tying it up at 3 games apiece. The Brooklyn Dodgers won the final game, earning the team its first world championship. Decades earlier, in 1927, Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in a single season as a New York Yankee. That phenomenal record seemed unreachable for 34 years. Then during the 1961 season, Maris and teammate Mickey Mantle took turns leading the league in homers. By August, Maris was 4 ahead. An injury in September put Mantle out of the race. By October 1, the final day of the season, Maris had 60 home runs, tied with Ruth. In the 4th inning, he faced Boston Red Sox pitcher Tracy Stallard. When Maris connected on the 3rd pitch, the stadium fell silent as the ball raced for the stands. When the ball hit with a thump about 10 rows up in the seats, the crowd let out a roar. The baseball was caught by a fan and returned to Maris. The ball is now on display at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. In the early 2000s, several baseball players surpassed Maris' record 61 home runs, but because of their connections to performance-enhancing drugs, some question the legitimacy of their accomplishments. While Maris has yet to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, he has been honored with a museum in his hometown of Fargo. In today's presentation, we took a look back at some baseball history as presented on U.S. postage stamps. Be sure to watch part 2 of Baseball Through Stamps on this channel. Thank you for your interest in the video. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are released.